Today, we are going to predict the future of football. I will simulate a Football Manager 26 save 100 years into the future and find out how this sport will look like in 21-25. We will see who are the best players, which clubs dominate the leagues, which countries are the new powerhouses, and a lot more. What do you think will happen during this century? Write down your prediction in the comments down below and let's find it out together. In Football Manager, you can customize which leagues do you want to follow and potentially play in. And I decided to load 14 of them, all of which you can see on your screen. I also added Europe's top 5 women's leagues as well as the American League. To make sure we have some continuity, we will stop at 4 different checkpoints. 1 year from now, 10 years, 50 and 100. And without further ado, let's go 1 year into the future. Let's start outside of Europe, to be exact, in Japan. Kawasaki Frontale won the Japanese league with 3 points of advantage over Kashima Antlers. In Brazil, Flamengo had a quite safe route to the title despite a late slump in form. Nashville won the Supporters' Shield in the MLS, but they did not win the MLS Cup itself. This was won by Cincinnati on penalties. Raków Częstochowa absolutely dominated the Polish league. The big upset here may be Górnik Zabrze though, who surprisingly went down. Olympiacos won the league title by a single point over PAOK Saloniki in Greece. Meanwhile in Turkey, it was Fenerbahce who lifted the trophy, 5 points over Galatasaray. After 40 long matches, Union Saint-Gilloise won the Belgian league, only 2 points over Club Brugge. Things were less dramatic in the Netherlands, where Ajax won the league quite convincingly and with an insane run at the end. On the other side of the history books will be Telstar, who won only 1 game through the entire year. The Portuguese league saw Sporting successfully defend their title ahead of Porto and Benfica. The Big Three dominated the league as usual. French Ligue 1 gave us more of the same. Paris Saint-Germain dominated the whole thing. In the Serie A, we saw another successful title defense, the one from Napoli, 14 points over Inter. The bigger story here in all honesty is Bologna finishing 3rd. Bayern Munich did more of the same in Germany, winning the league 11 points ahead of 3 different teams. Barcelona though failed, and that's because Real Madrid went invincible. Rayo Vallecano also did well, managing to qualify for the Champions League. And in the Premier League, we saw a bit of a 3-horse race for the title. However, Manchester City's strong finish helped them take back the trophy. Going down are Wolves, West Ham and Nottingham Forest. Going up are Ipswich, Leicester and Sheffield United. But what about Europe? The Conference League delivers as usual. We saw an all-Turkish final in which Beşiktaş found a way past Samsunspor. The Europa League was also a carnage. We've got Karabakh from Azerbaijan in the quarterfinals, and Benfica made it to the final, only to continue the Gutman curse, because Aston Villa won, even though Benfica already had the lead. And in the Champions League, Arsenal finally stopped their bottling streak, thanks to an own goal from Ibrahima Konate and a goal by Bukayo Saka. When it comes to women's football, it was Chelsea who won over Arsenal in the Champions League this year, as well as in the Super League. I guess it's on goals scored. The Women's French League is initially a 12-team league, and then the top 4 is invited to a championship playoff. It was won by Lyon. Bayern thought winning the men's league wasn't enough, and also walked the women's Bundesliga. In Italy, Napoli battled against relegation, while AS Roma and Inter fought for the title, which was won by the former. Barcelona took revenge on Real Madrid and almost went invincible in the women's league, and in the States, it was Seattle Reign who lifted the title. In 2026, we also had the World Cup, and it was bizarre. We had the likes of Jordan, Tunisia, Ecuador or Slovenia in the round of 16. There was Japan or Austria in the quarterfinals. USA got past Czechia in the semi-final, and Brazil was eliminated by Morocco on penalties. Canarinhos at least won the penalties over Czechia for the 3rd place. But that's not the end. The USA won the World Cup at their home. I mean, what? Are you even real at this point? I cannot believe what I've just seen. And that's how the 25-26 season has ended. Now here's something I had to do. Temporarily, I had to unload every league other than the 2 tiers of top 5 leagues, the Portuguese and the Dutch league, as well as the MLS in the men's game, as well as the top tiers of France and England in the women's game. The database I have is quite huge already, and it would take forever to simulate the whole century. Don't worry, I'll turn all of the previously selected leagues back on before the 100th season, and this is when we look at them. We just went a whole decade into the future, and already some carnage happened. First off, the MLS, where Cincinnati is the only team to win the MLS Cup more than once. They did it 3 times in this save so far. And now we're off to Europe. We start in the Netherlands. Here, Ajax and AZ Alkmaar quickly established themselves as the country's top two, with PSV, Feyenoord and Twente chasing these two, and Twente even won the title in 2027. The Portuguese league is more of the same. Sporting is the team that dominates the most, but it's nothing compared to Ligue 1. Paris Saint-Germain has a perfect record. Just take Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga, who also won all titles in the Bundesliga. All titles? Well, no, not quite. In the 2032-33 season, a club by the name of RB Leipzig held out against the giant. Thankfully, at least the Italian Serie A is a bit more of a carnage. Of course, Inter is dominant, but it's not like Napoli, Juventus or even Fiorentina could not find a way to league titles of their own. In La Liga, Real Madrid recently started to absolutely dominate. Recently, only their city rivals Atletico could break through. And in England, we saw Tottenham and Arsenal both winning the league. And Arsenal did it twice. When it comes to Europe, we have the first ever two-time Conference League winner, FSV Mainz. Although every single winner is from the top 5 league, the runners-up are a bit more interesting. Genk, AK Athens, Fenerbahce, Antalyaspor and even Raków Częstochowa of Poland found their way to the final. And one of the finals was played in Kazakhstan of all places. Manchester United won one Conference League and they've also won the Europa League in the most recent season. Ajax or Sporting also tasted some European glory. However, the big story is in the Champions League. Now, of course, most likely winners are Real Madrid, Man City or Paris Saint-Germain, but I want to look at the 28-29 season, when Atletico Madrid finally lifted the Champions League trophy. And here are also the UEFA coefficient rankings. The most notable highlight is Sweden, who went all the way up to 11th. On the international stage, we had the World Cup hosted in South Korea in 2034, although it's not been confirmed Saudi Arabia will host it. The 2 World Cups so far were won by Italy and Brazil, and the 2 Euros were won by Spain and France. We're now going a bit further. We're going 50 years into the future, because by that time, chaos should really kick off. Despite only winning 2 MLS Cups in those 50 years, LA Galaxy still holds the record for most league wins in America. Nobody has really dominated, and there are only a few back-to-back titles. New York Red Bulls are the team that won the most, 5 to be exact. In the Netherlands, Ajax dominated the first years. However, slowly but surely, Feyenoord took over and is now by far the most dominant force. Utrecht also found a way to grab a few titles for themselves. In Portugal, Benfica and Sporting are the 2 most dominant sides. However, Porto lost touch with the top, and they finished mid-table in the most recent season. Paris Saint-Germain finally lost the title in 2045, when Nice took their only league win. From then on, Les Parisiens still win the league most of the time, but the likes of Olympique Lyon or most recently Lille can shake up the French football landscape. In Spain, the big 3 dominate the league almost without fail. Almost, because Valencia managed to win the title in 2064. The Italian Serie A is still dominated by Inter Milan. Only Juventus can break their dominance, and Fiorentina is the only other club to win the league title, doing so in 2069. In the Premier League, the back and forth between Manchester City and Liverpool was the usual story, with a couple of titles for Chelsea, until the end of 2050s, because then Manchester United finally won the league. But the most insane story so far in England is well and truly the dominant spell of Ipswich Town. And in the most recent years, Newcastle are mostly the team to beat. The most reputable league in Europe right now is the German Bundesliga, but nothing new happened there. Bayern win most of the titles and only RB Leipzig can topple the Bavarians, but it's only a few and far between. In Europe, the Conference League delivers as usual. In this 50-year period, many massive clubs such as Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Monaco or Valencia won it. But we've also seen the likes of Young Boys, Rangers, Žilina or Dabasy Szynket and Tobol Kostane from Kazakhstan, Celje from Slovenia, Aris Limassol from Cyprus or First Vienna FC reach the final, while Paphos won the whole thing in 2052. The Austrian clubs also enjoyed playing in this competition so far, with Blau-Weiß Linz or SV Ried winning 1 Conference League each. Blau-Weiß Linz also reached the Europa League final in 2072, but apart from them and Galatasaray reaching 1 final in 2040, this competition was dominated by the top 7 leagues. The most surprising clubs on this list of winners are Nancy from France, Utrecht, Manchester City or even Barcelona. The Champions League also delivered a couple of surprises. In recent years, Bayern Munich is the team winning it the most, but we've also seen RB Leipzig grabbing a few, Newcastle, Fiorentina or Lyon winning 1 title each, and even Galatasaray made it to the final in 2063. In the UEFA coefficient rankings, Germany finally beat England to the first place. Other than that, not much has changed in the top 10, but right outside of it, we've got in order Cyprus, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Scotland and Slovakia. This is simply generational. just like Czechia's fall off all the way to 32nd. But what about the national teams, other leagues, other records, maybe some competitions from other continents? We'll get to know it only after we simulate the rest of the 100 years. This is when we'll find out everything that's happened in the world of football. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and I'll meet you in 2125. Before we actually land there, 100 years into the future, I need to make a stop in the year 2093. I found out that Kazakhstan was the 8th most reputable league in Europe at that time, which is wild already. Can they keep up the pace by the time we finish the simulation? Well, let's find out. We're finally in 2125 and I've decided we're going to react to every single thing that's happened live, as in live commentary. I want to start off with the Major League Soccer, and what we're seeing here is St. Louis City being the most recent winners. We stopped at around 2075 when St. Louis actually won back-to-back. And then they kept winning more titles, but it's not like they're dominant. We've got Toronto winning back-to-back, Sporting Kansas City winning back-to-back, Inter Miami even won a couple of titles. Toronto actually won 3 times in a row, but the most recent winners, of course, have to be St. Louis City. Now, I will calculate everything after we've recorded this live section and we'll find out who's won the most titles in each competition. But for now, let's just move to Brazil. Corinthians is leading, but they haven't won any titles recently. It's Botafogo, Palmeiras, Flamengo. I see Vasco da Gama, more Palmeiras, Flamengo. There's a couple of teams that are clearly dominating. As I said, Palmeiras, Flamengo. I also see Atlético Mineiro won a couple of things. Botafogo most recently. Like, I don't know how much has changed because I don't follow Brazilian football, but I can clearly see there's like a big 4 teams or something, but we haven't really seen an upset here. J-League in Japan. Japan is no longer a most reputable league in the entire Asia. It's now the League of Iraq for whatever reason, ahead of Thailand and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia understandable with Qatar, China, South Korea. Now about the Japanese league itself, Kawasaki Frontale are absolutely smashing it in the most recent years and have smashed it through, I would say, most of the history. The real competitors, at least during the first half, were Vissel Kobe. Maybe Kashima Antlers got a couple titles as well, that's also huge, but it's Kawasaki who just win everything, I guess. We're finally off to Europe and we start in the Polish Ekstraklasa. Oh, Portugal is third. That's massive. What about the Polish league itself? Jagiellonia won the most recent title ahead of Widzew in 21-24, but it's Legia Lech. Oh, Jagiellonia here is once. Couple of times as well. Are they really the only 3 teams that have won? Also Raków won 1 title, but other than that it's just those 3. No new winner. Only the top 4 of the most recent season in real life. If I was to guess, I think Legia won a little bit more titles. They're back into their glory days. Widzew in the penultimate season finally broke through and won something, but other than that, it's just top 4. And now we'll see the rest of the most reputable leagues because I want to move to Greece and I just want to use this thing. And what I'm seeing, Cyprus is the 8th best league. Azerbaijan is the 9th best league. Kazakhstan stayed up around the 11th. Armenia is 15th. Georgia 16th. I mean, just chaos. Poland is only 32nd. Greece is 33rd. But first off, I want to see Greece. Who keeps winning the Greek league? We actually got new winners. Panionias have won the league twice in a row now. Other than that, it's the big 4. Oh, Aris has won once as well in 2076. That's massive. Olympiacos won most of it, without a doubt. 13 titles in a row for Olympiacos. Insane streak. Turkey. Where is Turkey? Galatasaray. Wow. No, that's actually a massive streak from Galatasaray. Besiktas in 97 have won the title, and since that point, Galatasaray have the perfect record. Any new teams in the top 3? Başakşehir was already up there. Konyaspor actually is a big surprise. Sivasspor as well in the second ones. Fenerbahce won 1 title, but Galatasaray basically took over. First years were a little bit chaotic, but Galatasaray in about 2040s just took it all, and didn't even ask any further questions. This was basically it. Next up, I want to check out Belgium, and what we can see here, Club Brugge. Oh, we actually got an 18-team league. Is it that because Belgium has changed their format? But it doesn't really matter. Club Brugge have taken over. And now it's glitched. Can I see this? No, we can't. We cannot see who's won the Belgian league. How many titles you've won in total? That's what matters. 97! How many of them are in this save so far? That's the big question though. Basically way too much. Eaten the league. They've actually walked it. I'm also seeing a perfect streak lasting like the entire 22nd century beside the 2101. Netherlands. Final keeps dominating. After 50 years, it was Feyenoord that dominated, and it stayed exactly like this. However, PSV Eindhoven won a couple, Ajax won a couple as well, Groningen even won 2, Den Bosch is third, NAC Breda is second a couple of times, Waalwijk also became runners-up once, NAC Breda actually won the championship. Also, what a form, only 2 losses throughout the entire season. Going down Excelsior, Den Bosch, Telstar, the second tier, Volendam, Sparta Rotterdam, Twente down, Zwolle, Herenveen, and now we're actually moving into the top 6 leagues, because Liga Portugal have taken that from Serie A. It's boring, it's just boring. Bologna 4th, does it really matter? Italy lost the 4th Champions League slot, that's actually huge news. Napoli is a mid-table side, Juventus is there, Milan, Inter, Roma, Lazio is in the lower half, so we'll have to check the Serie B. In terms of the titles, it's Inter, Juventus, Roma actually won a title, Spezia won a title! Fiorentina had a dominant spell as well, between the 70s and 80s. Where's Spezia now? They're mid-table. I wanna go to Serie B, and I see Cremonese winning the promotion. I see Pescara, Bari, Torino down, Udinese at Genoa. Maybe in Ligue 1, Paris Saint-Germain is not dominating anymore. Lille won the 2 most recent titles. Marseille is also up there. Where's Paris Saint-Germain? Since that 50-year mark, it's Lyon versus Lille. Paris Saint-Germain get 2 titles, then even Rennes get 4 titles. PSG is still in the podium places. Lyon is dominating the French league right now pretty much. PSG won a couple of titles here, but there are seasons where they aren't even on the podium. And Lille is the most dominant side in the most recent decade. Lille won the title, then it's Lyon. They have only 2 Champions League slots, so someone else must be in the top 5. Plenty of new teams here. Paris Saint-Germain is not even making it to Europe now. Sochaux is 4th, that's huge. Laval is here. Red Star, that 3rd club from Paris, is here as well in the Ligue 1. Valenciennes, although relegated. Amiens is here. Bastia, Pau, Nancy, Dunkirk. Most of the teams are nowhere near Ligue 1 in real life right now. Also, the second tier. Caen, Le Havre. Nice is in the second tier, as well as Toulouse, Strasbourg. No, Saint-Etienne are in the 3rd tier. They've just been relegated alongside Montpellier. La Liga. What did I expect, in all honesty? What did I expect? Level on points for the title. I cannot even see the Atletico Madrid. Am I blind, or do I not see Atletico Madrid? Mallorca is 3rd. Alaves is... Leganes Zaragoza also make it to Europe. Girona, Tenerife, Eibar. Close up there. Plenty of new teams. Sevilla is rock bottom. Where's Atletico? They're in mid-table of the 2nd division, alongside Getafe, and the second teams of Mallorca, Real Madrid, Barcelona. We've got Albacete and Real Betis making it to the 1st division. Sociedad, Palmas, Coruña, Valladolid in the playoff. Someone else must have won, like Mallorca had to win once, or Alaves. Barcelona and Real. Barcelona and Real. Barcelona and Real. Barcelona, Real, Real, Barcelona, Barcelona, Real. Valencia. I mean, Atletico even won in 2081 and now we're in the 2nd division. Barcelona, though, won the most up until the last decade when Real Madrid took over, really. Spain has stayed pretty much the same in terms of the top 2, but everything else is carnage. And now we're going to Portugal, the 3rd best league in Europe, all of a sudden. Benfica won. Sporting is in 10th. Moreirense, Braga is expected, but Moreirense, Vizela, Torrense, Lexua, Estoril making it to Europe, but I cannot see Porto. Porto are in the 2nd division, at best. 6th place in the 2nd division. What have you done to Porto? They were already mid-table in the 50-year point. They're now in the 2nd tier. And I guess Benfica dominated the whole thing. Like, Moreirense won the title, that's massive. Torrense as well. But apart from back-to-back from Moreirense, it's pretty much Benfica only. Bundesliga, no longer the most reputable league in Europe. Leipzig won the most recent league and Bayern stayed 2nd, so I imagine there will be a back and forth between them in terms of winning the league. Frankfurt and Dortmund in the Champions League. Any new teams here? Dresden, Erzgebirge, Paderborn is back, the yo-yo club as well, but of course they're going down. Like, I can already tell Mönchengladbach, for example, is in the 2nd tier, and I also cannot see Bayer Leverkusen. So let's find out these two. Gladbach is here. Werder Bremen is going down to the 3rd tier. I cannot even see Bayer. Oh, they're in the mid-table of the Bundesliga. I thought they went down to the 3rd division. That would be insane. Wolfsburg is here in the 2nd division. Maybe someone else like Hughes has gone down, but I haven't realized just yet. What about the winners, though? That's the big question. Leipzig, Bayern, Leipzig, Bayern, Leipzig, Bayern, Leipzig, Bayern. Nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing. Dortmund, couple of runner-ups. Eintracht Frankfurt and Stuttgart as well, but no one could break into the top. And now, Leicester. Are you telling me Leicester won the Premier League in the most recent season? It's happened again, ladies and gentlemen. Southampton is 3rd. It's 2016 all over again. If only West Ham was also up there, that would be massive. I cannot see Crystal Palace, that's sad. We'll see the entire Football League first. Tottenham, Ipswich, Liverpool outside of Europe, but I believe they will get there anyway because the Champions League placements and stuff. Blackpool is back in the Premier League, Huddersfield as well. Bristol City made it. Middlesbrough are mid-table. Hull City are in Europe. And Arsenal bottled the league as usual, 2nd place. But what about the lower leagues? first of championship, Man United. I just casually went over the fact that Man United are in the championship. With Aston Villa, that's a little bit more expected. Lincoln City are in the championship playoffs, so Tom, I guess you had a good day there. West Brom made it through the playoffs though. Fulham, Nottingham Forest and Charlton Athletic going down. But what about League One? Everton are in the League One. At least they won it. And they're back in the championship. Salford also made it to the third tier. Cheltenham made it to the championship playoff. And the League 2 as well. Maybe someone massive. Wolverhampton and Crystal Palace. Wolverhampton and Crystal Palace in the fourth tier. And although Wolves won the playoff, I mean, still, it's League 2. It's League 2. Also, I want to check out the FA Cup. Yeah, I have to check Azerbaijan. They're the 5th most prestigious cup in Europe now. But anyway, here's the winners of the FA Cup. I see Hull City winning a couple, but they're into Europe, so that's not that unexpected now. But it's not like someone from nowhere has won it. That DFB Pokal, the teams can win it, like Frankfurt, like Dortmund, Stuttgart, Freiburg even, Holstein Kiel, but I cannot see like the brand new team. Bochum also got the most prestigious cup in Europe right now, which is the Portuguese Cup all of a sudden, won by Moreirense most recently. It's pretty much random. Porto even won. Oh, that's the start of the save, but even though Benfica won 4 in a row, it quickly turns a little bit chaotic, honestly. There is a couple of interesting teams here. Coupe de France, Lyon, Lille. I mean, this is more of the same. Only the top teams win it. Saint-Etienne made it to the final. Paris FC won it once, but that's it pretty much. Also, I have to check the Azerbaijan Cup, because honestly, how is Azerbaijan... No, I cannot even check the Azerbaijan Cup. Now, the Italian Cup, top teams, Spezia, top teams. Only the Spanish Cup as well I want to check out. Mallorca won, most recent one, but other... I mean, I could see Alaves here winning, Valencia, Mallorca again, Villarreal. There is a space for those non-top 2 teams. And now, we're going to Europe. And we're starting off with my favorite. And we're starting with the Conference League when it comes to Europe. And I can already see Ordabazi Shymkent won the Conference League again. Like, they've been in the final as far as I know. They've done it again in 2075. Now they're there for the 3rd time, but I can already see it's carnage. I love it. Tottenham may have won twice in 4 years, but Paphos in the final, Besiktas, Tirol from Austria, Almeria even won the entire Conference League, Norwich in the final, Hardberg Budapest final, that's also massive, Pacos de Ferreira, NAC Breda, Sittard, Tobol Kostana won the whole thing, St. Pölten with Sturm Graz also were in the final, Aras Nakhchivan, where are you from and why have you won the Conference League? They're from Azerbaijan, a club from Azerbaijan won the Conference League. Sabah from Azerbaijan as well are in the final in 2096. Nancy, Chelsea, Ipswich, Bologna, Millwall, Zira, another winner from Azerbaijan. Aras won it again. Hardberg also won the 2nd Conference League. Žilina made it to the final in 2107. Tud in the final from Switzerland. Pacos de Ferreira also in the final 2111. Ordabas actually won. They've actually done it in 2116 against Josgori from Hungary. Spezia won the 1 Conference League of their own. I love this competition. Lausanne Sport from Switzerland. Ordabasi Shymkent won it again. Celtic in the final against Newcastle. Norwich won it. It's actually massive when you think about it. The Europa League. Lake Choix, Portugal, have won it in the most recent season over Lyon. Portuguese domination. Absolutely, Portuguese domination. Alverca is here. Rio Ave, Vizela won it twice in 4 years. Barcelona won all of a sudden. Arsenal, Marseille, mostly the top 5 European leagues, and you have to consider the fact that Portugal is pretty much the top 5 league now. Atletico even won the Europa Leagues in the late 21st century, in the 90s. Paris Saint-Germain in the final. Ordabasi Shymkent made it to the final. Other than that, it's top 6-7 countries. Blau-Weiß Linz in the final as well. Ordabasi Shymkent is the only big story outside of the top 7 countries. The Europa League belongs to Portugal. What about the Champions League? I believe it's more of the same, but I will not be surprised if I see a random winner from like Iceland, for example. So let's see. My hopes were a bit too high. Liverpool won a couple. Leicester even won 3 Champions Leagues. So it's not that unexpected that they won the Premier League. Spezia won the Champions League. Spezia won the Champions League. The big story here is Spezia. Benfica also, they won a couple of Champions Leagues. Fiorentina also won a couple of those. But in terms of the big dominant names, the new ones are mainly Leicester and Benfica when it comes to this competition. Other than that, unfortunately, it's the usual. And now I want to check the coefficients. Spain, England, Germany, Portugal, Netherlands. Then we've got Italy and France. And the top 10 has Cyprus and Azerbaijan. Kazakhstan is 12th. Austria and Switzerland expected. Armenia is in the top 15. Where is Slovakia, Poland, Czechia? Turkey is 15th. Slovakia is 19th. Denmark is also very low. Czechia 26. Where's Poland? Poland's number 34 behind the likes of Liechtenstein. Georgia is 18th, that's also huge for them. Hungary, and now the other Champions Leagues, North America. I believe it's mostly Mexico and MLS. Although we have a club from Trinidad and Tobago winning it. But most of the time it's Mexico and sometimes the USA. Copa Libertadores, Barcelona SC from Ecuador. We've also got Cerro Porteño from Paraguay, who are absolutely dominant and have a worldwide reputation. Flamengo won one, but it's Paraguayan domination. Paraguay and Ecuador have taken over the Copa Libertadores. African Champions League. Esperance Tunis absolutely cook it. There's a couple of titles from like Egypt, Morocco, South Africa even. But from a certain point, Esperance Tunis destroyed the whole thing. 92 Champions Leagues. How many of them in real life? They've won 4 Champions Leagues in real life, and in this save they've won 88. AFC Champions League Elite, Bangkok United, which means Thailand, some Saudi Arabia, whoever is Kichai SC from Hong Kong, Kawasaki Frontale, despite dominating in Japan, have not won much. Most of the save it was Saudi Arabia winning it, but since about the start of the 2110s, it's Thailand mostly. Now I want to see women's football. NWSL, National Women's Soccer League. I don't know much. Maybe someone is there to know what's going on. What I'm seeing is Angel City FC dominating it, ahead of Portland Thorns, as well as Washington Spirit doing very well. It's not the men's MLS, where it's a whole lot of everything. It's Angel City FC. It's clear and set here. Division in, not even in the top 6 of Europe. How far are you? It's Spain and first, then we've got Germany, Romania, Scotland, Czechia, Austria 7th, Norway, Switzerland, Turkey, Belgium. Where is France? 26th most reputable women's league. So who wins it? It's not Lyon. We will not find out, basically speaking, but if you want the most recent winners, Arsenal, US Saint Malo, Grenoble, and FC Metz. These are the most recent winners. You will not find out about anything else because it all glitched. Moving on, it's Serie A women. And it's much more interesting compared to the men's game. Because in the men's game, it's Inter and sometimes Juventus and maybe Fiorentina up there. Here, we've got Inter, of course, Juventus, of course, but we've got Roma, we've got Milan, we've got... I've also seen Napoli winning it. We've got Sassuolo, Fiorentina, Lazio, Ternana won 2 titles at least, 3 to be exact, Genoa, and the most recent title was won by Lazio. Now we're moving to not Spain and Germany, it's England. 43rd. They don't even matter in Europe. That's how low the women's league has gone. Well, if you care about the winners, it's Aston Villa, Everton, Spurs, Arsenal, Man United, Birmingham City won once, Chelsea started with the dominant spell, then it's Arsenal, then it's a back and forth between Liverpool and Arsenal, and then it slowly starts to be a little bit of everything. Bundesliga, Bayern won the most recent season. Winners are mostly Bayern and Wolfsburg in the recent years. That's basically it. Only 2 clubs have won without fail, and Eintracht Frankfurt pretty much without fail is third. And in Spain, the most reputable women's league now, Barcelona, Real Madrid. I cannot even see anyone else. I'm not kidding. What is this streak? Starting from here. 26 the first title. They've dominated for the rest of the century. Only recently Real Madrid got a couple of titles. Absolute cinema. Women's Champions League. Politehnica Timișoara from Romania and Olimpia Cluj and Farul Constantia. This is Romanian domination in the late years. It started with the, I wanna say, German domination. Bayern and Wolfsburg. Rosenborg, Trondheim, Brann also won. Both clubs from Norway winning it. Sparta Prague in the final. Sturm Graz as well. Glasgow City also won. Hibernian from Scotland. Sturm Graz won. St. Pölten won. Glasgow City, not Celtic or Rangers won. Braga won as well. But in the late years, it's Romanian domination. Only Barcelona and Real Madrid can compete with that. And maybe the German clubs. That's it. And Celtic. Women's World Cup. Canada, Italy, England, Germany. No Romania. The Romanian clubs took over the women's club game, but they haven't done so for the national team. Canada won twice. Norway as well. Australia won at least twice. Yeah, they won twice. Canada won for the 3rd time. USA is always up there, but they cannot seemingly win it. Apart from like one case in 2055. And what I want to check out now, finish this off with, is the national teams. I've literally seen the African Cup of Nations and it doesn't want to show up. Who's won the most recent title? They're pretty much playing every 2 years now. Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Algeria, DR Congo, Cameroon, Gambia, Tunisia, Nigeria, Angola. Senegal won 3 in a row. Cameroon also won 3. Ivory Coast won 3 in a row. Back-to-backs from Nigeria several number of times. Burkina Faso may be a little bit an upset. Maybe Angola, maybe Mali. But it's mostly the teams you would expect win the African Cup of Nations. So I would instantly move to Copa America. Canada won. USA, Mexico, plenty of titles. Brazil can win every now and then. Paraguay won once. But yeah, it's mostly the top teams. Uruguay won once. Canada won once. That's it. CONCACAF Gold Cup. Mexico, Canada, and US, I believe, will be pretty much the only ones I want to say. But it's not like Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica cannot win a couple. They've won a couple of titles, but 5 nations only. One of them won only once. AFC. And I can see more of the same. Japan won 7 Asian Cups in a row. UAE won once, but other than Japan and South Korea, it's mostly the Arabic nations and Australia who did it once. And this is pretty much it. The last one is the Euros. France, Scotland won once, that's massive. Turkey won once as well. Netherlands bottling 2 finals in a row. Ireland are in the final. Poland made it to the final, as well as Czechia. Austria win and the final. Serbia in the final as well. Spain, England back and forth. Netherlands and Belgium hosted it twice in a row. Germany, they've won once. Italy won a couple. Scotland and Turkey are the biggest sensations though. Now the World Cup. We've seen USA win the very first one, so we can expect some carnage in the World Cup. And the USA won it at least 3 more times. 21-22, 21-10, 2094 against Romania. Denmark made it to the top 3. Romania had a golden generation, it looks like. Poland! Poland actually won the World Cup in 2070. Denmark in 2062 is also massive. As I knew, it's going to be carnage. Brazil won 3 World Cups in a row, the first team ever to do so. USA won 5-6 World Cups, and I think they might be not the most successful, but definitely up there, maybe even 2nd, 3rd place. Netherlands actually got one of their own, as well as Belgium, as well as Japan. It finally went to Asia as well. Actually massive in terms of the World Cup. Colombia, Serbia made it to the final, as well as Mexico. 3rd place, you've got Wales, Ecuador, Croatia, Norway, Colombia, again, Greece. Something definitely happened during this tournament. The disappointment here is Germany, to be fair. They've got a couple finals, but that's pretty much it. England haven't won as well. And I also want to check out Club World Cup, which most recently was won by Arsenal, Feyenoord, Real Madrid and Bayern. But as expected, it's pretty much, yeah, it's only the European teams who won it. However, we got Barcelona SC from Ecuador making it to the final, as well as Al Ittihad from Saudi Arabia. That's pretty much it. The top European teams dominated the whole thing. Now, I want to find out the Ballon d'Or. Someone from Flamengo won 4 times. Facundo Torres also won twice. Why do I see so many Flamengos? It's a Brazil takeover. Endrick, on the verge of retirement, won a Ballon d'Or. There's no Yamal, there's no Mbappe. What happened to the Ballon d'Or? It belongs to South America. Someone from Boca Juniors also wins it a lot of times. Only a few European mentions. Someone from Sweden won the whole thing. Finally some normality in the end of 70s when John Otegui won 4 in a row. Giuseppe Mele won 2. But this Otegui guy looks like he's been the most successful. Is there a difference between them and the best men's player? Yes, there is, because here, I guess it's a little bit more fair. You can see Kylian Mbappe won a bunch, Bukayo Saka, Jude Bellingham. And then there's this guy called Valentin Mulenda, who wins 3, 5, 7 Ballon d'Ors in a row. Rafa Peredo decided to try to up him, only done 6 though. Someone from Bosnia won 4. I want to see the most recent winners. Who are you? Mr. Davide De Santo. You're from Real Madrid and you're a right winger from Italy. And you are insanely quick. You can also cross, you can also take control of the ball. You're really good mentally. Ballon d'Or, who is the most recent winner? Julian Quintas. Who are you? You're an attacking midfielder. He's fast and good mentally, and this is where most of his strengths come from. Technically, it's not that great, honestly, apart from the technique itself. Spent most of the points on mental and physical attributes. Next thing I want to find out is the Hall of Fame. Who are the most famous managers now? There's this guy called Facundo Amut, who is responsible for the success of Cerro Porteño from Paraguay. Pep Guardiola is only the 5th best manager of all time now. Marenko Beza also keeps winning everything with Paraguay. Jose Antonio Barcala also led Bayern to plenty of success in the women's game. Piane Schulze also dominated the Spanish Women's League with Barcelona, but I also want to check men's game only. And Guardiola is here 3rd. Thiago Motta is 4th. Success with Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, Liverpool, Bayern. Guardiola is only 3rd. He managed England and won the Nations League with them. Marian Cabeza, responsible for the success of the Paraguayan club, as well as Facundo Amut. They've taken the 2 first places without any disputes. In the top 10 we've also got this Braun Nuderman, who won plenty of things with plenty of European clubs. Ole Werner, leading Inter to plenty of things. Ricardo Gonzalez, again the Paraguayan team. Turns out, in this experiment we found out that nothing really matters, because there's this club called Cerro Porteño from Paraguay, decided they will win Copa Libertadores in almost every single season without fail, and they're the ones leading the charts right now. One of the strongest clubs in the world. I want to find out if We'll even see if they have anyone. No, they have grayed out players, and Roberto Aguilera, a French player, loaned from Nacional in Portugal. I'm ending this recording live session, will calculate everything, and of the major competitions, I'll come back to you with graphics showing who's won the most of what. So I calculated everything from the major leagues, and here's the results. Benfica is by far the most dominant team in Portugal, with 68 titles to their name. Sporting's form in the first half of the save helped them secure the second place, but I could see Moreirense getting past them if we kept simulating. Paris Saint-Germain's early title streak helped them become the most successful team in the French Ligue 1. Narrowly though, Lyon are really close now and just 5 titles behind. Lille, Rennes and Marseille could also enter the conversation in the future. Inter did not face such competition in the Serie A, winning it 69 times. Juventus with 16 and Fiorentina with 11 are not even close to being close. Only 4 teams have ever won the La Liga, and to make things even more interesting, Real Madrid and Barcelona are tied for most wins with 41 each. Despite the fall-off into the second tier, Atletico is still third to 13 titles, and the final team to win was Valencia with 5. The German Bundesliga only had 2 teams winning in this century. Bayern came up on top and by a massive margin. It was 79-21. And in the Premier League, Liverpool's most dominant spell in the late 70s and 80s helped them become the best in England with 37 titles. Manchester City is second with 20, Newcastle is third with 13, and there's a close battle for 4th place. And now it's time for Europe. In the Conference League, the most successful teams are Hoffenheim and Tottenham. They both won 5 titles each. But in total, 65 different teams lifted the third European trophy. So I also included the list of nations that won. England obviously won, ahead of tied Germany and Italy. Austria saw a Conference League winner 4 times, Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan each won 3 times, Turkey also added 2 trophies thanks to the efforts of Besiktas. Unfortunately, only 7 nations won the Europa League. And again, it's England with the most titles, 29 to be exact. And it shows when we see which clubs won the most. It's Chelsea with 5, then Arsenal, Manchester United, Newcastle and Tottenham, who all added 4 each. 55 different clubs won the Europa League, plenty of which did it only once. So if we look at the table of nations, it's Portugal tied with Italy for 2nd place with 14 titles, but overall it's really close. And in the Champions League, it's way less chaotic, with only 18 winners from 6 countries. Only 2 clubs achieved a three-peat in this century, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. They are also the 2 most successful clubs, with Bayern winning 17 Champions Leagues in total and Real claiming another 12. Third is RB Leipzig with 8 titles to their name. Thanks to these 2 clubs, Germany is tied with England on the trophy count, even though Bayern and RB are the only German clubs to win. And for comparison, England has 6 different winners. And now it's time for the national teams. In Africa, we saw 2 countries achieving a three-peat in the Cup of Nations, Senegal and Ivory Coast. These 2, along with Nigeria, are all tied for most wins, 8 to be exact. Algeria, Cameroon and Morocco are fairly close, with 5, 4 and 4 titles respectively. In Asia, Japan absolutely crushed the opposition with 15 Asian Cup titles. The other winners are Saudi Arabia and Iran with 3, South Korea with 2, and Australia with UAE getting 1 title each. North American football is still dominated by the USA and Mexico, and USA are just at front, with 21 CONCACAF Gold Cups titles compared to Mexico's 19. The only other winners are Canada with 5 wins, Jamaica with 4, and Trinidad and Tobago, who somehow found a way to win in 2055. Copa America saw Argentina with the most wins, 7 to be exact. And in this South American tournament, tied on 2nd are Mexico and Brazil with 5 wins. USA and Uruguay won 3 times each, and Canada with Paraguay also won once. The European Championship saw an early back and forth between Spain and England, with La Furia Roja coming up on top. Spain won the Euros 8 times, and England did it 5 times. Italy and France are still fairly close, with 4 and 3 wins. The disappointment may be Germany, with only 1 title. And last but not least, you did not see this coming. The United States of America are the most successful team in the World Cup, winning 6 titles. Brazil still leads the all-time charts though, with 10 in total. Then Italy and Spain won 3, France won 2, and there are a couple of nations who also tasted the World Cup glory. But honestly, none of that matters. All we learned today is that a random team from Paraguay called Cerro Porteño is now the best in the world with 69 Copa Libertadores wins.